Hey guys, Lumen02. Gonna be doing a sort of a deck tech, but really more a theory piece, and then some gameplay with the deck you have in front of you, which is 100 Card Storm. And please bear with me, Moto's going nuts right now. So once the preview panel gets up, we'll start going through the cards. This, so I've already done a bit on the Storm deck on the Tutor Storm deck that's available in the format. There's quite a few Storm decks, but I think that Tutor Storm tends to be the most powerful. This deck's going to be an adaptation on it, and I kind of want to do this piece for a couple reasons. One is from like a brewing perspective and kind of just a testing and like building perspective, because I think there's been some decent changes to the Storm deck since I last covered it. Of significant note, Yawgmoth's Will has become a point, which means that Mana Vault, which was in that list at the time, has been removed to accommodate for Yawgmoth's Will, Gifts Ungiven, and Black Lotus being the pointed cards that are in the deck. And secondly, we had the printing of Underworld Breach, pardon me, which I think is a card that is both worth note and actually adds an additional dimension kind of to the deck, outside of just purely redundancy, but it actually offers up a more mana-efficient way than either Yawgmoth's Will or Ill-Gotten Gains. It's also easily tutorable off of your 2-mana transmute cards to include Shred Memory and Muddle the Mixture. And kind of offers up some versatility that way. The additional thing is, when you start building with new cards, like, for instance, Underworld Breach, I think it actually does tend to, not maybe necessarily massive changes, but it does kind of foment that you rethink the entirety of the deck, I think, to a certain extent. Because you want to equity build in these engine-style cards. Because Underworld Breach in and of itself does nothing, right? It's a card, it's like Yawgmoth's Will. Yawgmoth's Will on its own. After you cast Yawgmoth's Will, unless you have other stuff that is relevant in your bin, if other things are true or conditions are met, then it's very, very powerful. Like, Yawgmoth's Will is not a bad card, but in and of itself, it doesn't do anything, right? It requires other conditions to be true. So once you start looking at the cards kind of in that way, they do have a cost from a deck building perspective. And I think when you start including them, like, for instance, Underworld Breach, you want to look at how do I build equity in this card such that it is doing what I want this deck to be doing, and or like operating in a way that it acts like Yawgmoth's Will, or in some cases maybe better. Yawgmoth's Will. So there's a couple cards that I'm going to cover kind of in this engine pile right here. This pile of 7 is what I'm calling the engine pile, and I'll kind of cover down on how I have these cards broken out. I'm not going to talk the mana base extensively. If you want to talk Storm mana bases, go check out my other one. I think this one has a few differences to include Forbidden Orchard, which I guess could go over here as kind of like a utility land. And then it has a Sulfur Vent. Otherwise, it's probably almost darn near an identical mana base to the last Storm deck. Outside of adding the Sulfur Vent, which I thought would be kind of nice to give me some more high rolly hands for turn 2 kills. And then Forbidden Orchard because we're running Oath of Druid, which I'll talk momentarily. So there's a couple ads that kind of I include in the deck to try to test out and build equity in Underworld Breach. One of them is Oath of Druids. This has always been a card that, like, you don't see a ton of Oath decks in the format, namely because Oath's really slow. If you're playing Oath, like, you almost just want to auto-win the turn after it comes into play. Like, you want the trigger to happen, and then you get whatever you get, and then you just win the game. Well, I'm going to tell you that I think maybe the best varieties of Oath decks actually don't even run creatures. How are we accomplishing this? Well, Oath of Druids is in this deck. It's intended to trigger, turn 3 or whatever. You have a Memory's Journey, go to your bin. You tap a green, and if you have access to red in one of any color, you're going to put Underworld Breach on top of your deck, cast Underworld Breach, and then basically go ham, because you have 100 cards to play with and can replay Black Lotus or any real spells, or any spells off of Black Lotus mana as many times as you have cards in your deck divided by 3, which is more than enough to cast a Lethal Tendrils, which is a win con. So that was kind of one theory, is that, like, I don't need a creature. You could possibly play, when I was talking to Jeremy White earlier, we were considering, like, I was talking to him about, like, maybe, he was talking about Gristlebrand, I was saying, I think maybe Runescarred Demon is a card you could play. And neither of those are bad, but I think in general, like, Gristlebrand doesn't beat all board states. It dies to quite a bit. Runescarred Demon doesn't per se get the mill that you want off of the Oath of Druids. If it doesn't, it's still a tutor, which, is probably going to put you in good stead to win on the turn that you have it come into play. But not always, right? Not all the time is that going to happen. So the idea is you basically mill your whole deck, use Memory's Journey, Flashback to put the Underworld Breach back on top. Sometimes you need 2 combinations of cards if you don't have the right mana, but you have a cantrip, so then you'll, like, put 2 cards on top. It'll be like Black Lotus plus, Underworld Breach to fix your mana with the Black Lotus plus use the cantrip to get into the second card. They're going to be randomized, but you're going to hit both of them. Sometimes that comes up as well. Additional card that I'm trying testing out in this deck is Savine's Reclamation. So one card that's not typically used in these decks is Entomb, actually. I think Entomb's a very powerful card. I think it's definitely worthy of its inclusion in this deck. At least it's proved itself to me in fishing and then in some of the games I've played with the deck. The reason Entomb becomes very powerful is because Underworld Breach, unlike Yawgmoth's Will, does not exile cards when they're recast and they go back to the bin, because you're exiling other cards to continue to do this. So this comes at a cost, right? But Entomb allows you to have perfect selection. Basically, it's Demonic Tutor, 1-mana Demonic Tutor instant speed with Underworld Breach, which is very efficient, and it allows you to generally find this card right here, which is Brain Freeze. Either Brain Freeze, sometimes once you already have a Brain Freeze active, you'll just go find Tendrils of Agony and win the game. But the reason you find Brain Freeze is once you have a Black Lotus or a Lion's Eye Diamond, you have an Underworld Breach in play and a Brain Freeze, you can mill your whole deck and essentially get to the same spot you would be in if you had an Oath of Druids that just triggered because your opponent had more creatures than you, and you dumped your whole library over. What does that allow you to do? Well, it allows you to use, again, the Lion's Eye Diamond and the Black Lotus to continue to make not infinite mana, but a large enough mana that casting a Tendrils for 40 to 50 Storm count is very viable from that position. Additionally, because, we're still running Gamble like we were before, but because we're running Entomb plus Gamble now, I also put in Savine's Reclamation, and I've used this once or twice to, generally it's not actually, I think it's one time it was to get back Underworld Breach. I think, one time I did get Underworld Breach back, and the reason that it ended up playing out that way is, my last card in hand was, a Gambler and Entomb, and I gambled for this card, but I had already binned the, Underworld Breach, and I had a Lotus in the bin, so I got back, I binned the Savine's Reclamation out of deck, got back the Underworld Breach plus the Lotus, and then went infinite with it, which is kind of a cool sequence. I don't know if Savine's Reclamation is necessary. One of the other cards I was testing with before I kind of went this route is Fastbond, because Fastbond plus Yawgmoth's Will is kind of interesting. If you're doing the Oath of Druids combo, although it is going to still cost you life, because this deck's not playing Glacial Chasm, although it could, but that's a pretty big commitment into the lands kind of package. But I found I didn't need that engine piece. It was just a redundant engine piece that really didn't serve me well. And if I had Underworld Breach, it was good enough, and it was just more mana efficient to actually get startup mana for it than it was to do Yawgmoth's Will into Fastbond. It's a 4-mana sequence, whereas Underworld Breach is, it's a 5-mana sequence because it's cast the backside of this Memory's Journey with green, cast Yawgmoth's Will, then cast. Casting the Fastbond out of the bin is not that hard. It's a 4-mana sequence. This is a 3-mana sequence to Memory's Journey into Underworld Breach, so it's just cheaper. So I didn't feel like I needed that redundancy. Ill-gotten gains you've always had. The way I've broken this down is you have your, what I'm calling cards here, your card advantage cards. A lot of these are tutors, 90% of, not 90%, but all of the basically non-1-mana ones are tutors. There's a couple that are. You have Worldly Council, Strategic Planning, Impulse, Anticipate, and then in Ransack the Lab that are actually not tutors, but the rest of these up here are all tutors. And then you have some just 1-mana manipulation. Down here at the bottom. Another interesting card that you're kind of that I am playing with in this deck, and I've actually been decently happy with it, is Enlightened Tutor. This is a card that probably 2 or 3 cycles ago actually came off the pointing, the Canadian Highlander points list. Probably for very good reason too. The card's not that great, but in this deck I kind of like it because it gives me access to either my mana if I just need to go down a card to get mana, which is not the worst thing to be doing. It allows me to get a Yawgmoth's Will, which is Underworld Breach here. I'm calling it Yawgmoth's Will, but quote end quotes with that. It allows me to get an Oath of Druids, which allows me to mill my whole deck and then get back Underworld Dreams, the Memory's Journey, which will assuredly be milled because I'm running out of creatures. So it kind of offers up some interesting, it also gives me a Wishclaw Talisman if I need a specific card, and I'm not really interested in being that mana efficient. So the card does quite a bit. I'm pretty happy with it. Some of the things that had to come out of the deck were the creatures. So Storm actually does play some number of creatures. I think it's 6 or 7. You have your Wild Canters, your Blood Pets, your Baral, your Goblin Electromancer, and cards like that. You also tend to play the Transmuting 2-drop. I always forget the name of that card, but it's some basically unblockable 1/3 or something like that. So all those cards had to come out of the deck in order to kind of enable the Oath component of it. And I'm not per se sure if it's worth it, but the Oath is quite powerful, and I have killed a few folks with the Oath specifically. Now, given it was in matchups where, if I just had, I guess it's better than a creature. It's better than, some of those creature slots. And what I've kind of realized is, more flex slots in the deck. So what you have over here, this is your mana. I'm not going to cover the mana. The mana has not changed that much. They're not printing a lot of busted mana like they have historically, although we did get kind of this gift of Underworld Breach here. The fast mana is kind of the same in most Storm decks. You play as much of it as you can. Sometimes it's off color. Doesn't really matter that much. You'll note we're not playing Culling the Weak or Infernal Plunge or anything like that, because I don't have creatures, obviously, but otherwise we're playing almost every single piece of it. Then you have your flex slots, so like your interaction, like Storm, like so 15 slots is actually a significant bit to a committed combo deck for interaction. And actually, I guess you could say Lightning Bolt's actually the alternate win con for this deck. So if you do lose your Tendrils, you don't lose with this deck. You could also just use Lotus Petal or Black Lotus to make infinite red mana, and then cast, well, not infinite, but you can make a lot of red mana. Probably use Black Lotus because it makes 3, and then cast Lightning Bolt over and over again on your opponent's face with the Underworld Breach to actually kill them. That is a method that I kind of showed to someone when I was playing them, and then I just found the Tendrils is a lot faster. I don't want to waste so much time. But it's also just really good interaction. It deals with the Kembal, deals with Thalia. It's just a really good card for dealing with problematic creatures, Gaddock Teagues, whatever it might be. Mother of Runes plus threat piece or hate piece, whatever it might be. But Lightning Bolt, very, very good. Orim's Chant Silence. These are fairly common in the Storm deck. Sometimes you see a Bance. I'm not running a Bance at the moment. Giga Drowse, just good against blue decks. Tap down their mana. Duress, yeah, all the hand attack is in here. So you have all of this hand attack, and Collective Brutality kind of does double duty because it can actually deal with threats and or hands. The spell bombs, they can just be simple card draw, so they can even go over here if you wanted them to. They're kind of multimodal, just to filter out your deck and put more cards in the bin, because graveyard quantity does tend to matter. Cabal Ritual is an important ritual in the deck. It's also nice to have more cards in your bin because they turn into Shaft for Underworld Dreams, and they both deal with creatures, which is good. Is it Charm? This is a card you don't tend to see as often, I think, anymore in Storm, but I really think this card's interesting in this deck specifically. I'm playing this card plus Faithless Looting. I was trying Careful Study, but I ended up cutting that one. The fact that these can loot, like, you're not a card advantage, you're down a card off of this, but the fact that this can loot, and I'm in a deck that has, at this point, more engine components, and even some cards that, like, actively want to be in the bin, like Savine's Reclamation, just allows me to get through more Shaft, and they're also, this is a counter spell for non-creature spells, which tends to be what we care about, and it also removes small creatures, which some of those death and tax creatures we do care about, and it buys us time. Fire Ice, I don't know if I'm sold on this. I was talking to Jer. He didn't really like the look of this card. He didn't think he liked it in this deck. I don't know. Like, my thing is this. Like, neither side of it is just, like, horrible. And, like, sometimes you can buy a turn against a blue deck if you ice them. Sometimes you can just fire 2 threats off of Death and Taxes and just kind of get there against them. I don't know. I'm still kind of on this card. I think it's just fine. Fatal Push also in the deck. I think more and more, like, you know, folks are embracing more efficiency, and at least on the online meta, I kind of like Fatal Push. But you could change this card out. I think it's just good against a lot of creatures that can be problematic for the deck. Defense Grid, yep, blue decks. Teferi, yep, blue decks. And then as far as mana base goes, I did fail to mention this. I was saying it was a normal mana base. I'm playing Forbidden Orchard, which gives me a little more utility to utilize Oath of Druids against the non-creature decks in the format, if I so happen to have it. But typically, if you're playing against a non-creature deck, you're not going to be that interested in keeping Oath in. Another thing you can look to do, like I said, is like look to add Runescarred Demon, so you have like a big creature to play in the deck, or Gristlebrand. If you were like worried about the blue decks of the format, you want to have like a threat just to pressure them with. So anyways, guys, this is kind of the build that I'm working on right now. I am pretty happy with where it's at. I think, you know, the changes I've kind of made and some of like the adaptations I've done to the deck have been quite good. And fished it quite a bit, and I've got like probably 5 or 6 games down today. I'm going to showcase to you some of the ones that I played today. I played against a black-red, like Rakdos, aggressive, disruptive deck. And then I played against some goblins. So kind of get to test the deck out against those decks. And I'm going to go on a quick pause. We'll be back momentarily. We'll showcase some of the gameplay. Not going to do a real extensive deck tech today. If you guys do want more on this, I'll link the video that I did for the last one. The deck has changed, but I don't think it's so significantly that standard lines in Storm are not going to apply. And really where I'm kind of at right now with the deck is kind of figuring out all of the different machinations and permutations, really, the deck can kind of show to me, and then how best to play those kind of lines out by just changing probably like 6 to 7 cards, maybe 8 cards in the deck to kind of adapt for Underworld Breach. Again, I don't think it's a simple plug and play. I don't think you just slam Underworld Breach in here and just go. I think there is some adaptation you want to do the deck. I'm not per se sure if the way I've got it right now is 100% correct, but I want to test it because it's kind of interesting. It's kind of spicy to get to play Oath of Druids and Memory's Journey. Brain Freeze, I think, is probably canon with Underworld Breach. I just think it's too good. You could play Glimpse the Unthinkable, or whatever it is, the black-blue spell that mills 10. You could try that card out too, but like, that card's so bad. Oof. And like, Brain Freeze at least goes fast. Like, it's like you do this twice or 3 times and like your whole deck's milled. Anyway, I'm going to go on a quick pause, guys. Be back momentarily with some gameplay. Alright guys, we're back. Had to restart Moto, unfortunately. I'm curious to see how these replays do. Moto has not been doing so well recently for me. Alright, so this is a keep. It is a one-lander, but it does have a secondary mana source in the form of Lotus Petal. It also has Rite of Flame. The big pull of this hand is a double tutor hand. It has big mana. If it can unlock its early land drops, I think it's going to do quite well. I know what I'm playing against at this point. I'm playing against Blah Guy. This is our third game. So the first game, I lose to basically doing deck testing. I had two very clear games where I could have gone for a standard Big Tutor into Infernal Tutor plus Black Lotus LED. In two games, and I opted instead to do some crazy stuff in the early game, in the mid game, to try to like test out some different things with the deck, which to me is kind of like stress testing, if you will, like how far can I hand this deck and like still get there, and or like going for it on like turn 2 when I had to blind flip a bunch of stuff with like a brain freeze, and it wasn't necessary per se. Just kind of want to showcase some games where like I think I play the deck more optimally as opposed to testing it. And then the second game we played, I think they straight up killed me. They had turn 2 Eidolon on the play game 1, and then on the draw they had a turn 2 Eidolon, or turn 2 or turn 3 Eidolon after I turn 1 Inquisition them. So I didn't see it. So I lost those two games pretty handily. One to just being a ham and trying to stress test the deck, and the second one just to opponent just kind of having the card that is probably the most problematic in the red style decks to deal with. They also have hand attack and some discard. I believe they're playing like Skelemental. So they go ahead to hand attack me here, take away the gamble. Let me close this window down too. This is crazy. Motor's going slow. So what I end up doing is finding a Lion's Eye Diamond, which I keep. It's a little worse with gamble, but I have this Beseech the Queen to kind of set it up. They are evidently very mana short right now, and have a Flamekin Harbinger they've played, but they have not made their land drops. So my guess is they have a good hand, but not one that has consistent mana. I go ahead and try to go for it here. I'm going to find Underworld Breach, and I'm going to go for it. Actually, do I just have it? Yeah, I just have it. I gamble for the Brain Freeze. With the Brain Freeze plus the LED, with access to both, I'm able to sack all my lands with Rain of Filth, do this multiple times, get Brain Freeze back. I don't know why I played it this way. I could have gambled, I think, sooner, but I opt to just really gamble here and just mill myself for about 30. I'm hoping to find like any mana source to continue to do this with. Do I find it? Oh, I have a couple. I have a tutor. I found a tutor. Plus, I have 2 mana left. So it wasn't that much of a gamble, but I think there was a cleaner line to do this with. Again, I'm kind of in the test phase of this deck, so I'm trying to ham a little bit just to see like what the deck is capable of with these changes in it. But I've won at this point. So what I'm doing is basically milling my entire deck. I'm looking for a copy of Tendrils of Agony or a Lightning Bolt. Either will do. And I'm going to keep on replaying this Lotus and replaying Brain Freeze until I find what I need. I have found the Tendrils of Agony at this point, so we get a turn 3 kill here with a pretty high storm count. It could be really much larger if we wanted. But we ended up getting them here. They were a little bit mana short, so they didn't bring a lot of pressure this game. And we only got hand attacked once, so not a significant amount of disruption, but the deck was still able to play through it by taking the Underworld Dreams line. I'm sorry, the Underworld. Oh, well, here's the cool thing, guys. We're going to get to play a live game with this deck. Probably be playing against Jeskai would be my guess, but we're going to do a live game here. Why not? We'll come back to this game. I'm actually shocked that the deck worked. All right. Or the replay worked. The deck, I'm pretty sure, is going to work. It's just a Storm deck with not a ton of changes. But Storm's a pretty powerful shell. What do we think of this hand? I think this is a keeper. It's not fast. But it's got a Thoughtseize. It's got this Muddle to transmute into either Underworld Breach, an Infernal Tutor, or Ritual. Whatever we may desire. I think this is one of those hands, though, where like you actually want to say... I mean, I don't know... I know this matchup. Like, I'm pretty sure they're probably playing Jeskai still. But I could see leading with Thoughtseize. If they're on a black deck, you probably want to lead with Thoughtseize. But I kind of like saving it here. Just to, like, let them develop a bit, see if they want to tap out and do some crazy stuff. This Muddle is going to be uncounterable. I mean, alright, so they're playing this, so we know they're on a blue deck. Again, I don't think I want to Thoughtseize yet. Because I have a ton of mana, but no disruption in hand. I'm probably just... I Thoughtseize this turn if I wanted to. Jeskai is a weird matchup because like they do need to present pressure. That was a hell of a draw. Alright, well, we're going to see what they're made of here. We're just going to tell them, hey, we're going for it. If they have Forcible or Force Negation, they can get this, but I think that's okay. If they're burning off 2 cards, or they get Daze. They have Daze, but I mean, they're putting a tap land back. Alright, so they have that. So we got a Queller and a Force Negation out of their hand. That's fine. Like, I'm honestly like not upset to see that happen. The big question is going to be, so we drew a 2-mana spell. This Sulfur Vet does come into play tapped. I do want to get it out. We're probably cycling the Aether Spellbomb next turn. It really depends on what they do. It's nice to get a pitch counter out of their hand, though. Yeah, they basically had to, I think. I guess I could transmute here. Alright, we drew that. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to make him have a Stifle. The question is, what am I getting here, though? You know what? I think I tutor for a tutor, because I don't know what I want yet. Or I get Limdual's Vault, try to set up a multi-card chain. It's definitely not Infernal Tutor. I have too many lands in hand for that to be a viable play, I think. Could also get Underworld Breach, but I don't have a lot going on my bin. And I ostensibly need 2 resources for that. I don't... Oath of Druids is actually probably the right play. Yeah, that's actually a slick play. Let's get that and say go. They're going to be probably inclined to leave up mana, and they're not going to play critters at this point, but this is also kind of works as a moat in some ways. Oh, no problem, bud. Jordan may have been looking for a game. Alright, they're going to take a look. Take a look-see. And if we get this Oath down, then, like, Jeskai's going to be in a weird spot where, like, they don't have a ton of ways to deal with Oath directly if I get it resolved. And it'll operate like a moat unless they want to run the Gambit, yeah, Gambit. The risky thing about this Oath is, though, I do need to resolve a spell through it, and right now I don't have an instant speed way of protecting it. But I have saved the Thoughtseize, so I can protect this at a minimum. I'd like to also play the Sulfur Vet on this turn, I think. Alright. Yeah, we're drawing a lot of lands here. I'm going to go ahead and Thoughtseize him here and see what they got going on. Looks a lot like a counterspell to me. And if they have a Daze, we know to play around it. They're probably just going to counter this and keep their information hidden. You know, honestly, I'm pretty set on mana. Maybe I do just go for it, because I think they're going to counter this. I just go for an untapped land to play around Daze. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay, what have they got? Alright, I'm going to take the card that I don't really care about. They do not have a counterspell, right? They have this Swords to Plowshare, which is kind of funny because I don't have creatures in my deck. They can plow their own thing. Should play this Vents out. Yes, I could cycle, but I don't need to. They may just slam, too. I doubt it, but they could. I doubt that's an appealing play, though. But they might. I don't think it'd be right, but they could. They probably got to find a way to deal with this card. And, I don't know, it's an interesting fight. I could have just gone for Witchclaw Talisman, which I think, like, knowing their hand now would have been better. I'm just drawing a lot of lands here, eh? Alright, well, play this out. We're just going to say go. I'm not going to cycle this Spellbomb right now. There could be something, or it could be something that I want to get with it. What do they have to do? They have to, like, set up a Disallow into a Stifle Bird. We'll see. I mean, I've flooded pretty bad this game. Haven't had a stellar draw. Actually, have we drawn anything this game that wasn't a land? Maybe Spellbomb? I did keep a more land-rich hand. That is true. They're going to cycle. Alright, they're cycling their land because They probably recognize that this Oath is problematic for what their hand looks like right now. Lavinia could be problematic too if they have that card in their deck. Not a lot of folks run that card anymore. I don't think it's that great, but okay. Now, this is like one of the interesting aspects to Oath too, right? I mean, it's kind of a moat. I get to just sit here and draw. We know their hand has 2 cards that we don't know and could be good. I'm going to cycle this off. All right, that's an impulse. Go ahead and do this. If they want to counter it, they can. They can't mana leak it of note. All right, let's get a Faithless Looting card. Seems a lot better than the rest of that junk. Okay, that is a Behold the Beyond. I actually cannot produce red mana right now, so I am going to play 1 land. I'm going to go ahead and do this. They can counter this if they like. I'm going to discard both these lands and say go. Now we have some interesting decisions to make for this Tainted Pact in regards to what we want to get. At some point they got to do something, right? They can't win sitting there forever, and eventually I'll find a means to fog their counter magic. I do have this Behold the Beyond, which, if it resolves, will allow me to win, but I don't think that's a safe assumption. Right now I can produce exactly 7 mana if I sack my Sulfur Vents, but I don't think I'm really ready to go kind of all in on it yet. So I'm going to just see what options are available. Just do this. No. 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 Yeah, I'll take that. This is probably counterbait, right? I think this is good enough counterbait. Should have cast this now. If they have a counter spell, they can go ahead and counter it. They're not going to counter it. Okay. Well, what am I given here? Trying to make it so they don't have a right pile. The Yawgmoth's Will is probably not going to go to hand. I don't know what they actually put in hand here. Savine's Reclamation is also pretty dangerous. It's a dangerous card from this position. I could have also gotten the Brain Freeze here, but it's like independently a really bad card, and I can actually recast gifts off of Black Lotus mana based on my graveyard capacity. And I have access to the LED off of Fabricate, and or I could directly find it. Alright, I get these 2 cards. Cool. So nothing's happening this turn. Now they're like probably pretty dead next turn. Probably pretty dead. I can't Fabricate for the grid though. Again, like this deck, my Storm deck is a very fast deck, but against like blue decks, like I don't think I'm in a rush here because of the Oath. Like they're in a spot where they need to play a land. Okay, they're just going to concede, and they're pretty dead. I mean, I think they need to be able to counter like 2 to 3 spells next turn. And it's probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. And or like play threat, deal with Oath, which they have like Teferi in deck. Teferi can bounce the Oath. Yeah, this hand looks quite good. This is going to be a weird hand where, like, unless we draw a better land, I'm probably going to play Teleria West next turn so I can set up a Limb Duel's Vault. And find what? Probably a Lotus, especially with the Dark Petition in hand plus all this mana. I'd like to draw a better land, though, because it'd be kind of nice to be able to Serum Visions. Yeah. It'd be nice to Serum Visions turn 1 to start building up the bin for Cabal Ritual. Alright, well, this is going to find Volk or Plateau, I assume. Alright, nothing. You know what? Like, what am I losing out on by... I'm not, like, trying to go, like, fast against this deck per se. I'm not trying to fish. I think I'm just going to look for my lands here. My next land, that is. This might get Spell Pierce, but, like, I honestly think that's fine if that's what they're doing with their turn. I didn't find any of that. Well, Behold the Beyond is, like, interesting. Alright, Underworld Breach, you gotta go to the bottom, bud. I'm gonna top this one. Interestingly enough... Oh, that's my first turn. Yeah. So I'm not going to draw a land next turn, but I am going to play out a Teleria West tapped, and then play out this Pyrite Spellbomb. Probably just cycle it on the following turn, but like set up for... I have a lot of tutors, right? And I have a significant amount of mana. I could also just Limb Duel's Vault. That's also interesting. The issue with leaving that on top is if they play a threat this turn, I'm kind of in a worse spot. If they do nothing, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to play this out. Could also LDV for Lotus here. Make 3 black. Ritual up to 5 mana. Cabal down 2 to 3 up 3. Yeah, I don't quite want to Cabal yet. What the hope is here, they play like a Geist Saint Draft or something. Alright, yep, they're going to leave up their counter magic. That's fine. And if they do nothing and I don't hit my land, then there's a world in which I may want to LDV here, but I think I just want to cycle the Pyrite Spellbomb. That was a good draw. That's exactly what we want to see, because now we can just pass the turn back to them, and we can LDV for Disruption. It's also white, which is not... It's white and it's a fetch land, so it builds up the bin. And allows us to like find a silence effect for our turn. One of the other interesting things with this build, alright, they're going to play a Flash Threat, they're just going to cycle a Miscalc, which is fine. Their deck's not set up to counter forever. That's the thing with Jeskai mid-range. It needs to put pressure down against this deck. And, yeah, it really needs to. Really needs to find the pressure. I think it's correct to fetch here to play around... Well, yeah, I'm gonna play around Aven Mind Sensor. I may just leave Spellbomb in play if they leave up Mind Sensor mana. Now, I know I was talking about like white mana for Silence Effect, but I think I'm going to wait on that. Could also just find Hand Attack, right? Okay. I'm just not going to do anything. Okay. Well, I will Limb Duel's Vault here, if I can. If I'm not allowed to, then, well, it'll get countered. If this eats a counter, I'm pretty happy with it, though. Okay. Yes. Giga Drowse is kind of nice. No. I actually kind of want Giga Drowse. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to put this on bottom. I don't want the rest of this stuff. I can also Brainstorm. My hand's really good. What should I do? This. I am going to cycle this off now. If they have the Aven Mind Sensor, that really stinks. It's going to hurt pretty bad. I'm going to stifle this thing. Be a ballsy play. Alright, they're going to stifle it. Alright. Well, do I want to play around anything here? So I can Giga Drowse their land. Yeah, I think I do Giga Drowse their land. It's going to put me up to 7 pre-casting. Just going to Giga Drowse this. This is mana neutral. Actually, you know what? Could just go for it here. Do I want to respect? I can't go up mana here. That's the problem, right? Any of these spells. Well, actually, I can Dark Pet. What I'm trying to think here is if I Dark Pet, it's a 2 mana spell. I'm down to 4. I go back up to 7. I go up 1 if I find Black Lotus specifically. 7, 8. Yuck. I think I just go for it here, guys. I think that's the right line. So, yeah, I'm going to do it. And if I get countered, I get countered. That sucks. Have it. Daze would also get me. So, actually, no, I should have Dark Petition first. All right, they had Force of Will. That's fine. Whirlwind Denial. Oh, that card. That card's not good. Don't play that card, guys. It seems good against Storm. It's not good. Like, you want pitch counters. You want effects like that. So Force of Will is going to get us, I think, regardless, unless I found Hand Attack. Yeah, if I Dark Pet, I'm down to up 3 with Lotus. I can't go mana neutral off that exchange, unfortunately. So they're down cards again. I can Beseech here, which is actually not horrible. They want to try to Vendilion click me. Fetch again. Probably find Bayou, I think. Bayou or Badlands. Probably Bayou. Let them counter here if they want. See what they do. Alright. I mean, the question becomes, like, do you have... I'm going to save it for spell count here. They either don't have more counter magic. I mean, they may. I think they have threats. They could have Vendilion Click, too. Vendilion Click would kind of suck. They're just going to get me a Vendilion Click here. But, like, that was going to happen regardless. If I play the Black Lotus out, they should Vendilion Click in response to get the Dark Petition. Alright, that's fine. That doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Alright, I'm just going to go for it next turn. They've obviously drawn a lot of lands. If they have another counter, that's going to stink. I guess it'll depend on what I hit, too. Like, Hand Attack would be great here. I could have also set up with a Scrub land as opposed to the Bayou. Maybe that was more correct. If they're attacking me, I'm just going for it. Yeah, I think in this position you just don't attack and you, like, try to bluff it. And or you leave up the Fiery Islet. Yeah, you leave the Fiery Islet. They may also just have, like, Daze isn't going to do it here. They could just have the other Force of Negation, the other Force of Will, Force of Negation. Alright, well, Lightning Bolt not doing us any favors. I just do Will here, right? Yeah, I think Will makes the most sense. All right, let's do some quick math. We are trying to Tendrils them out here. Can I Hand Attack them here? I mean, if they had something, they should have done it by now, right? Should have. So if I beseech here, I go down to 6. Hand attack down to 5. Dark Pet down to 1. Back up 3. If I beseech plus Serum Visions, I'm down to 1, 2, 3. I still have 3 of these in the bin. Go down to 5. Back up to 3. So down to 6. 5 after hand attack. Cast back up to 3 to cast for lethal, and that gives us the storm count too, right? I also have this this bolt. All right, let's fetch here. I think we are going to need this land, and then we'll have the bolt to finish them off for the last storm. We're not going to just bolt them beforehand. Let's fetch. They have a stifle or something. If they have stifle, they should probably save it for the storm. That'd be my guess. They have stifle, maybe. Maybe. We'll see. Alright, what land do I want? Just take the Badlands. I am going to beseech here. Go hunting for a card. We are going to find... Duress is probably fine. Sure. Okay, they have Bolt. Just to make sure it wasn't a stifle, because that could be a card that they would hold on to this long, and I haven't done anything to disrupt them. So we'll go ahead and go for a Bolt to face here, and hit them with Lethal Tendrils, and that's game. Alright, good game to our OP here. Yeah, let's see if they want another. I kind of want to try to showcase some live gameplay of like the Underworld Breach combo. It's a pretty cool combo. One of the things on Jeskai, you really want to present pressure early. Like, you have to almost just, like, go for it. And they also had, like, Force of Will in hand. Maybe they just didn't have the pressure, and, like, they kept it on the back of, like, the forces. The thing is, I don't think... I mean, like, I got Force there, and, like, it wasn't great. But they weren't, like, really promoting a proactive game plan. Until, like, in my opinion, it was too late. You want pressure up front, disruption on the backside. When you're trying to fight this style of deck. Give them another shot here. If they're still around. Oh, they're not currently logged in. Anyways, guys, quick pause, and maybe we'll go back to some non-live gameplay, or I'll see if I can get more games. Alright, guys, so we're jumping backward a bit in time here. We're going back to recordings. Alright, so that first hand's unkeepable. It has no mana sources. It has a lot of good cards in it. This hand's interesting. It has a ton of mana. It has an Entomb, which is interesting with ill-gotten gains, and it's got a Ponder to kind of smooth out the draw. And I'm probably going to lead on Ponder. Entomb itself, plus ill-gotten gains, will be informed as the game goes on. So we're back to playing against Black-Red. I'm sorry for the jumping around, but if I get offered a game in the middle of this, I'm going to take it, and you guys can see some more live gameplay and some of my decision-making in the process of it. I end up shuffling that, I believe, finding Oath of Druids, which is actually very interesting in this matchup. It's going to kind of do an interesting to the game. They play out a Smuggler's Copter. I'm just going to jam an Oath. Oath means that next turn I win the game. And how it's going to happen here, you need 3 mana to win the game with Oath, because I'm going to mill my whole deck, because I have no creatures. I'll find Memory's Journey. I'll cast Memory's Journey with the Tropical Island, and I'll have left an Underground Sea. With the Oath of Druids... So, the way I'll actually get the mana that I need to do it is I'll Memory's Journey on my upkeep, putting back Black Lotus and Underworld Breach. I will draw my card for the turn, which will be one of those two. We don't know which it's going to be because it's random, but then I'll cast Sleight of Hand to draw the other one, which will be Black Lotus or Underworld Breach, play out the Lotus, make red mana, cast out the Underworld Breach, and then win the game. So, basically, they're in a spot where they need to kill their own creatures, which is not a good spot to be. They either need to kill me this turn or kill all their creatures off. So they mill a mountain, kill their own dude. I go ahead and just slight here to find the Cabal Ritual. Play out the Bayou and say go. So moat's kind of just being a moat here. Oath is being a moat here. It's not literally a moat. But it's kind of operating that way. But, like, I'm pretty happy with where the game's at. I'm at 11 life, which is not really high, but, like, we got some time, right? Like, unless I draw Price of Progress, which is also going to do significant damage to them, like, I don't feel very threatened. We do know that they have a Fatal Push in hand. I'm sorry, a Tragic Slip in hand. From seeing their hand earlier with the Duress, they're going to kill this thing. I just go ahead and Entomb here, putting Underworld Breach in the bin, make some mana, go ahead and use the Ill-Gotten Gains. I have Entomb plus the Underworld Breach, so I go ahead and Entomb the Lotus, sack a bunch of my lands, play out the Lotus, make blue mana, go ahead and get back Underworld Breach. I'm sorry, go ahead and get back the Entomb the Brain Freeze, and now I have Brain Freeze plus Black Lotus, and now essentially I've done exactly what my Oath of Druids was intended to do, which is set up a lock where I'm able to continually cast Black Lotus to make blue mana, and then Brain Freeze to mill my whole deck, which will eventually allow me to find Tendrils of Agony, which is actually right here in the very top of my graveyard. So right now I'm just getting the Storm count. I could probably do it now. I may fool around for a little bit, just having fun with the deck. As you can see, we're down to 33 cards in deck left after just 2 castings of the Brain Freeze. And here we go ahead and cast a Lethal Tendrils. Turn 5 kill, which is pretty slow, but we had basically a moat. We played a moat line where we got the Oath out and then forced them to basically waste all their cards, which put us instead to just play a long game because they weren't really putting us under a ton of pressure. So anyways, guys, quick pause. We'll be back momentarily for the next match that we have against Blagai. Alright guys, so we're not doing a replay, we actually found another game. We're going to do some live gameplay with this deck. Playing as Root Potato. What do you think of this hand? I think I actually really like this hand. So there's a couple ways you can play this hand. You can go real risky with around the play too. Yeah, this hand's great. Easy keep. I could gamble for a Lotus here to try to get or Behold the Beyond out real early. But I think what I'm going to opt to do is just opt instead and then use a Limb Duel's Vault on the following turn to find the Lotus. Except the mana. I mean, the highest upside play is just a gamble turn 1. With the largest hand size we're probably going to have all game. I'm going to save the gamble. And the reason being is because I have the Underworld Breach. It'd be cooler to win with Underworld Breach, and gamble really sets that card up well. It puts the Brain Freeze you need. If I end up finding that. Yeah, actually, I really like that. So we can opt turn 1. Then we can set up LDV, end step. At a minimum, 2 cards are in the bin. Try to LDV for the Underworld Breach. I mean, I'll probably just take anything that can cast Behold the Beyond. If I find enough mana to cast Behold the Beyond, I'll just cast that and win the game. But I'll try to do it with some style. I'll try to win it with some cool cards. And when I say cool cards, I mean Black Lotus Breach plus Brain Freeze. That'll generally do it. It's 1 mana short of casting all of the spells. I mean, it's 3 mana off the Lotus. But I really like this hand. I mean, it's not the best hand I've ever seen. It's not a turn 1 win, but hey, alright. So we're just gonna lead on this and leave up opt and see what we can get. Ideally, mana. Mana would be good. Ritual effects, anything like that, be quite strong. Then we've got this LDV to consider. That'll be our next turn's play. Oh, OP mold to 3? Oh no. Oh no. I didn't notice that. I'm sorry, man. That sucks. This probably not going to be... Alright, that's going directly to the bottom. Oh, the Druids. It's an interesting one to have. I could thought seize them, right? No. We're just going to LDV here, try to find mana. Try to end this game as rapidly as possible. I mean, gambling is the way to most rapidly end it if I get lucky, but there's no need to try to get lucky here. Like, my opponent mulled the Oblivion. I think I keep this. No. So, I actually don't need this. I don't really want these 2. I do want to draw an island on the turn following this. So I think what we do is this. We go ahead and well, let's first things first. Let's do this right. Let's just in case I want to gamble this turn. I don't think they're gonna have a hand that just kills me all in one shot. They're playing a Dredge deck, I think. Survival of the Fittest is not good for me. I mean, it's not gonna kill me on the turn it comes in, but I'll get rid of it. We're going to win next turn with a... Well, actually, it won't be a standard Storm line. Alright, Grizzly Salvage is the cast for the turn. We're going to look at what they found, but I don't think it matters all that much. They didn't find a Dredger, which for their deck is bad. They want to find like a Golgari Grave Troll or something on those lines. Alright, so the unfortunate thing is this. How much mana do I have? It's 3. I have exactly 7, so I have to Storm kill them the right way. What I mean by the right way is I need to find Infernal Tutor plus LED plus Lion's Eye, or plus Black Lotus. I'm trying to think if there's another way to do the combo where I find, like, I could wait another turn, but, like, I'm going to do the right line here, guys. Sorry. Like, I want to do the cool line in live play. You'll get to see it in some recorded play if I don't get to do it next game against this Dredge deck. So we're going to cast Behold the Beyond, which is basically a game win. So you find Black Lotus. This is a standard line. I've gone over this in my other video, but if this is your first time seeing Storm, like, this is a pretty typical line why you play these big Dumbo spells. It's because they equate to game wins. This. And then Infernal Tutor, where are you at? Always lead on your Black Lotus first, because if they Abrupt Decay your Lion's Eye Diamond in response, you're pretty sad. And you probably lose the game. Make black mana. So to generate Storm count for this, what you do is find Ill-Gotten Gains. Have exactly enough mana to do this. Basically just redo it again. Do the same thing. They get to mill a bunch. Okay. And this is a very lethal Storm. Could even Thoughtseize them if I really wanted to here to get another Storm count, but I'm not going to run it up. Like I said, could have gone for another a turn slower and actually done the kill I was talking about, but I was a mana short from just having Black Lotus to do Underworld Breach plus Brain Freeze, the Brain Freeze win con. If I had that extra mana, I probably would have gone for it, but that is the assured line right there. The unfortunate truth is we just fished there. I mean, our opponent mulliganed to 3 or 4, and they're just not going to have a great game that way. I do feel bad. I don't like winning that way. I don't know about other folks. I don't enjoy it. This hand's weird. I'm going to keep it just for testing purposes. Like, the Entomb's not great in this hand. The question I've got, it's really dependent on what I draw. I may lead on Tularia West, but I do kind of want to get access to a Black Lotus or an LED. One interesting thing this hand can do... Alright, Haggle. Cool. One interesting thing this hand can do is... Alright, they buried this. What does this thing do? Okay, it makes me discard cards. Okay. Alright, that was a pretty good find. Alright. Gemstone might go ahead. I could slow play this too. I think they're running... I don't know if they're running Wasteland or Strip Mine. Like, Ren and 6 would be pretty annoying. Alright, Gristly Salvage. You know, another line I could take is muddle the mixture into... Yeah, it's actually interesting. Alright, bunch of stuff. So they're going to start, like, getting rid of their bin. So one thing I could do is Entomb here. Find, like, Brain Freeze is, like, the worst draw in my deck. And then muddle on the following turn after this one. I'm not in a rush to Entomb here, right? Yeah, I'm not going to. Yeah, I just drew a land anyways. Now this turn I am going to need to commit to it if I'm going to do that. right? Alright, yeah, I'll do it. I guess I could have also Faithlessly, but I think that leaves my land dead. What's happening to me right now? So I'm going to get Icarated next turn. They're going to Cathartic Reunion, which is pretty bad because it's going to put a lot of cards in their bin. Could also just find Lotus next turn. Lotus may be correct. Does Lotus let me win on the next turn? It's going to give me a lot of mana. And I've got this Entomb still. Probably not. Alright, Conflagrate. Cool. So they're just setting up. It's a big setup turn for them. Do I want to Entomb yet? Do I need to? They cannot cast anything from their bin yet. Alright, they're going to cycle that. Mill some more stuff. Okay. Mana, I think, tends to always be their funnel. They have access to a lot of cards in their bin. You can also Entomb Savine's Rack. That's kind of cute. Alright, yeah. I'm going to Entomb here. It is going to be Brain Freeze, I think. Question is, they have draw 7s. I don't think I'm dead next turn unless they hit Anger. They don't have Anger in bin. They do have a Mountain, though. Just going to do this now. Alright, and we'll say go. Well, next turn we're going to win. We're going to get to do it the cool way if we don't die right here. I don't think I'm dead here, but like I said, I very well could be. Depends on what they have access to. So they don't have a Dredge card? I guess they don't. I didn't look that hard. They get back the Ghoul Steed. That's not going to be a big deal. It comes to play tap 2. Despoiler, sure. If they have a Reanimate spell, they get Flare. Really what I'm hoping for is they don't have a way to attack my bin. My guess is they're not replaying Merchant this turn. My guess would be EOT Ghoul Steed if they're not doing something real relevant here. They can Conflagrate me for some damages, but I obviously didn't want to leave the Lotus in play. They do have a Shenanigans in bin. If they want to loam that back, I guess they didn't want to loam that back. They could blow up my my Black Lotus. Alright, they're going to Conflagrate me for a bunch of damage, then discard a lot of their hand, which I assume has dredging cards. Yeah, it has a bunch of dredgers. The last card's a land. They're going to get back, what, a 2-drop of some variety? Probably the Despoiler? Be my guess. But we're not dead to this. And, yeah, I think we just win next turn. Okay, there's the Despoiler. Flare's not in play. They don't have the blue-black prized amalgam, so we'll take 3. There is no bridge either. Okay. Well, so I think what we do here is this. We just play this card out. I'm going to make some red manas with this. I'm going to play this card out because it's kind of free. And honestly, this Faithless Looting also kind of makes mana for us because it puts more cards in the bin. Alright. I have made my land drop already, so I'm going to get rid of... how about these two? And then, what we'll end up doing is this. So I'm going to Underworld Breach here. And we basically have all of the tools we could possibly need here. We'll go ahead and Black Lotus, getting rid of this, this, and this. Done. I don't think tapping my mana matters here all that much. Just want to get rid of this card. No. And then what I'm doing is brain freezing ourselves. I want to leave the Entomb in there, but the rest of these don't matter. Well, the Black Lotus, the Entomb, and the brain freeze are what I care about. The Entomb really more just for ease of use, so I'm going to start milling myself here. Yeah, any order. I guess this is going to ask me each time. But the graveyard order does not matter for this deck. It's probably because they have graveyard orders, matters cards in their deck or in their bin right now. Because Moto normally would just put these in the bin. Okay, so we will replay this Black Lotus, getting rid of Teleria West, Defense Grid, and then some land. I did not hit my tendrils, right? Because I can kill them at this moment. No, but what I can do is this. I can just boop. Manamorphose, Worldly Council, and City of Brass, cool. Can bin the tendrils, and then tendrils them for lethal. Unless they have some, well, they can't have crazy stuff. All right, and voila, that is the other way this deck wins. Not the easy way, the standard way that this Storm deck wins. It uses the Underworld Breach plus some interesting cards like Entomb and Brain Freeze to kind of set up the bin. So, and then Oath of Druids is another one that's kind of interesting. Anyways, guys, that was this game. I'm going to go to a quick pause, see if they want to play another one. I'll try another one with them. I don't know if it's going to be the best matchup because I think Dredge's a little slow for this deck, but it is what it is. It's a fast deck, and it's not the most interactive. It's interactive with other people's interactions, but it's not the most interactive of decks. But I do think it has some interesting kind of like nuance to it in the build itself that we're kind of adapting to and adding these new cards that are available. And basically from adding these new cards, I don't think they're just plug and play, right? So there's like some interesting interplay in the deck. And I think how you modify it to kind of best accommodate them to make the deck, as good as it can be. So quick pause, guys, to see if they want another game. All right, guys, we're back. Gosh, guys, I really want to keep this. I don't think it's correct to. It's so close, though. You know what? No, I'm going to be disciplined and mull it. Alright, this is a better hand. The last hand was good, but, it was kind of like the wrong sort of good. Get rid of this land, I think. Play this one out, say go. It was sort of good that if you high roll a Lotus or high roll a Mana Source, you probably win with it, but okay. Well, we got access to some cool cards, though. Actually, can we just go off? That's pretty funny. Alright, so what are we doing here? I don't think I can quite combo kill here, so I have to really do some counting here. So this Sulfur Vent counts for 2 mana. Black Lotus, alright, so I have access to 6 mana this turn. 3 of it can go into this. Oh, actually, no, I have more, because I have the Grim Monolith. How many cards can I put in bins? I can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cards in bin. Mana's not going to be my strain. It'll be cards in bin. What I'm thinking is this. I can Aristic Tutor for the goofy Underworld Breach. But then I'm short on cards in bin to cast both Infernal Tutor to find Brain Freeze. I can't get rid of my yard either, or my hand either. I actually have to be able to use Lotus to get more mana out of it, I think. So play this out. I feel like I can wait 1 turn. I feel like they're going to use their mana for something. I'm just going to do this. There may have been a line here where I could have just won there. I think it's a one card. No, it's 2 cards short in bin. I think I need 8 cards in bin. All right, Acorn Harvest is just fine. Beat me down for 2. That is cool. I mean, I could try to go for the Oath line too. All right. Could try to go for the Oath line. I mean, I could have last turn, but they're not going to play into Oath. The issue with that is I don't have the green mana to recast my card on the following turn. I do, actually. Never mind. I could win this turn. It's actually not very hard from here, but I actually don't want to. I kind of want to have fun. So I'm going to style a bit. That's what's going to happen here. Could also play this Rhystic Tutor out to get hand attack. I probably should have, actually. That was probably correct. The reason being, if they have Abrupt Decay or Assassin's Trophy, they can kind of just deal with this Oath. They don't have counter magic, so I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, if they don't kill all of their creatures this turn, we're probably gonna win. Yeah, Cathartic Reading is fine. They're gonna mill a bunch of stuff, do a bunch of things and stuff, but yeah, I think if we're gonna do the styling line, the right play is to get hand attack though. Just to make sure, because if they have another black source and they can Abrupt Decay this goofy Oath of Druids, then we could possibly lose. But I have green mana on tap with the Jeweled Amulet, so I can pay for my card. All right, so we're gonna mill ourselves to nothing. And we should have a turn 4 win here. I can't think of many cards that are just mono black that deal with this. Yes. Moto's going to freeze for a second because this is a lot of cards to mill. It's got to check them all. Yep, any order. Sounds great. Let me find my card that I need here to stop myself from milling. I will choose myself. We'll choose Underworld Breach. Alrighty. Lion's Eye Diamond is fine. Basically just can't get rid of my Lightning Bolt and Tendrils, and we got to win. So we're going to do this ad nauseum. We're going to get rid of this, and this. Sure. I'm glad they're letting me go through it. It's not that entertaining for them to have to sit and watch this, but it's cool. You kind of get to see how this deck does what it does. Is there a black stifle? Not that I know of, but not that I know of. But we're gonna make sure we can't get got by it. I guess at this point I have stuff like Is It Charm too. We're at 8. All right, cool, got him. I guess if we don't, we can do this again. It's one of the kind of cool things about it too. Alright. And there is 18 life loss. Alright. And to sideboarding / break time, I guess, because Canadian Highlander does not have sideboards. Alrighty. Well, I think this could be a tougher matchup for them. I don't know how reasonable. I mean, it's probably just not a great matchup, right? But it's the games we get, right? Like, I'm recording right now. I was kind of hoping to actually do some more live gameplay with Canadian Highlander. Um, I'm probably less talkative in it, honestly, because obviously I'm processing it as I play. It's obviously always a little different doing it live. Not a bad experience at all, but, well, this hand's actually really interesting, right? I think... Oh, I think you keep this. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it, guys. This is a risky one. I just want to have fun, too. Alright, so Mox, cool. Oh, well then. Does this win right now? Alright, so Black Lotus Petal. Red, black, black, black. That's 4 mana off of these two. Down 2, up to 5. Will. Does this actually let me cast this card this turn? So yeah, I think this works actually. I think it does. You know what, YOLO. This may not work actually. I think it may need 1 more mana. Yeah, this was folly. This was folly. Can I get myself out of it? Alright, we're just going to go for it. I'm like 95% positive this is not going to work out, though. I think what I'm supposed to do is get Underworld Breach, Lion's Eye Diamond. This is going to be total ham. I shouldn't have kept this hand for 1. And 2, I should not have gone for it here. I would have in like tournament play. I was like 95% positive it wasn't going to work, but I kind of want to see what happens. Yeah, we'll get these. That way, if we ever hit mana, we can win. Well, not ever. If we hit mana at all, but we did keep a very speculative 0-1, no doubt. And they haven't really done anything. They Entomb here, my guess would be, or Haggle, Entomb Haggle. This would be a fun hand to play out, though. Again, this is not how you want to play this hand. You want to Probably not keep it for starters. Are they going to burn me out and then put a flare in there to try to reanimate it? I guess. Yeah, I'm assuming we're going to like necromancy or animate dead here. Alright, buried alive. Alright. So they just want to pitch cards. Well, I assume they get a bunch of dredge stuff now. The other cool thing about taking this goofy-ass line is that, well, we get to see the deck work with Underworld Breach. Yeah, the issue with that hand was we were 1 mana short on the backside of the Yawgmoth's Will. Due to casting Behold Beyond. If we had 1 more mana, then we can Dark Ritual plus either Cabal Ritual or it had to be Cabal Ritual at that point. Into Tendrils to go for a win. But because we were exactly 7 to cast the Behold the Beyond off of all of our nonsense that we played, we are a little shy there. So the hand was close, but not quite a turn 1. What are we going to hit here? Like, what is it? Steam. The tap land that sacks for 2 would be probably the best draw in my deck. Although, even then, like, I'm a little bit short to get startup cards. Like, fetch land's probably the best. A fetch land's probably my best draw. Obviously, I'm probably not winning this unless I get exceedingly lucky. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that all makes sense. Start milling yourself. Try to... I figured they were going to reanimate the Flayer there. Alright, Ransack does nothing. That's okay, though. Kind of expect this sort of thing to happen. Okay. They can Cabal Therapy me. They don't know specifically what I'm holding. I mean, they can probably guess Underworld Breach is one of the cards in my hand, which actually does not make me cold. I'm not cold to that. So they get Flayer back. They can't reanimate this turn. I doubt they're going to Cabal Therapy here. They could, though. Alright, Thoughtseize again. Pretty bad draw. Say go. Now, I think if we don't hit a land this next turn, we're just dead. I think we're going to die to their fairly slow, but they're pretty inevitable beatdown. Yeah, that's going to help a lot. So they're able to bring back the Despoiler and did this for 3, plus 3 off this, down to 10. And we're likely dead on the next turn if we're taking 6 in attacks, plus 3. We're probably at 1. So fetch land at this point is probably still just lethal on the following turn. Oh, we're taking 2 off the Prized Amalgam too. No, we're just dead next turn. This is really aggressive. As I'm dying, I guess it doesn't matter that much, but I take 5 here. They want to attack first, though. Not attacking is, well, wrong. I mean, they could have me at 4 less life right now. Probably name Underworld Breach, be my guess. We'll see. What do they name? Always curious to see. I mean, I might guess it'd be Underworld Breach. I killed him with it in the last game. Yep, Underworld Breach gets exiled. And actually, that's not the worst for us. So, like, why that's actually not the worst for us is because if we do hit our Savine's Wreck, we can actually get it back. And Lion's Eye Diamond is actually kind of nice with Savine's Wreck. So if we go like land Savine's Wreck, that doesn't quite work, does it? Alright, Ghoulsteed, take 4. Actually, I'd be dead here if they'd attacked. Let's take 4 off this, plus 2 off this. I'd have been at 1. Yeah. So pretty big miss on our opponent's part there. But we're just dead. I don't think we have it. Yeah, I concede. Don't think we can do it from there. Don't think we can make it happen. Pretty close in the turn 1, but like I said, let's get more games of Magic in. Stress test the deck. One of the things I tend to do when I'm like playing new decks or decks that I've changed and I kind of want to like see what they'll do is just do some goofy ass shit that I would normally not do. What do I think of this hand? I think this hand kind of sucks. Let's see in the matchup. Oof, this hand's pretty bad too. So we're going to 5. Well, I guess we're going to 4. Alright, let's get rid of this one. Let's get rid of this one. Oof. I guess we're getting rid of that one. Pretty rough. Possibly going to lose here, honestly. Like, I think this is a good matchup for this deck, but we whiffed on the last game. Alright, well, I'm going to put you on top. I think I'm going to top you, too. I think I want the lands here. I'm not going to be able to fast kill here, but I can get this thing down next turn and, well, figure out what I need from there. I know what I'm drawing specifically next turn. Alright, just put this thing out. I mean, I guess if they have shenanigans, it's kind of bad to put it out. Alright, they're going to entomb. They could entomb for shenanigans here and just get this thing. If they're taking their time to do that, though, like, I don't know. It's not the worst. I mean, entomb's very powerful in their deck. Alright, they get the Golgari Grave Troll. They take a proactive line here. Which I think I'm fine with. I mean, that's not the worst. I mean, it's bad, but... Alright, they find on their Dredge. They find Necroplasm, which is a Dredge 2. And they have the Dread Return as well, but they don't have an onboard play. Now, is this the Shenanigans? Shenanigans is the thing I want to least see, to be honest. Scourge Devil, it's a 3 power attacker. Oop, no, I don't want to concede the game. What will we return here? Probably not hacking. Return a land too, could just return Grove or a fetch. Or even City of Brass if they're like really concerned about their mana. Alright, they return the fetch. Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, I really don't want to use Wishclaw until I'm ready to win, obviously. Well, I'm getting pretty close to wanting to try to win. Can I do it now? Really depends on what I find. So if I have Dark Ritual... Am I... This is tough. So, I don't think they have the shenanigans. I don't think I'm dying next turn. So there's two ways I can play this. I can Dark Ritual right now and Tainted Pact until I find either Brain Freeze. Actually, I can't quite do that, can I? Yeah, I'm just going to take another draw. Take another draw and Tainted Pact on their EOT here in response to something possibly. I can't quite set up to kill this turn. I'm close if I hit in the right order. Alright, these cards are fine. Yeah, it's also fine. They're going to go up on life, but like I don't think their life total matters against this deck. I think I have pretty good tools against that sort of thing. They have a land to fetch. I assume they fetch. They don't fetch here. This is a zombie merfolk, right? Yep. Alright, we'll Tainted Pact here. What does this do for me? So, can I cast this thing? So if I Talisman for Lotus, I'm down to 2, 5, plus 2, 7. That's a game win? Or is it? Because I'm going to have to use the Lotus, right? So, at that point, No. I think I'm short of mana for that. No. Don't think I need Petal either. Don't want this. I also don't think I need that. Does Gamble do it? No. Okay, we'll take the Underworld Breach, because I think that's how we're going to kill him here. Pretty bad draw. I mean, the big question is, do I just go for it? So what I can do here is I can cast 1 spell, 2 spell, 3 spell, tutor, 4th spell, mill 12. And at that point, I'm going to be down to 1 mana. But I have 12 cards in bin. Not the worst of odds. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go for it. Ritual. Just play this card for storm count. No. I mean, yeah, you know what? For the love of the game, let's go for it. We're gonna do this. This also leaves us with Dark Ritual mana. Oh no, it does not. I have to do this. So I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I think I just Brain Freeze here. Oh, I could also Oath. I'm going to lose the Underworld Breach, though. What's my mana situation look like? And am I dead next turn? I could very well be dead next turn. Especially if they're tutoring. Find Anger. Discard Anger. They get Hogak. I've already exiled one of my zeros. I have a 0 in play. So I'm opting to hit Lion's Eye Diamond pretty specifically. Black Lotus pretty specifically. Could also get like Gitaxian Probe to keep drawing. Huh. Yeah, given this turn of events, honestly, I should have thought this out a little better. Maybe it was better just to get Oath and keep the Underworld Breach in hand. Alright, am I dead? I don't think they play like Abrupt Decay and Assassin's Trophy. Alright, this thing dies. Yep, got it. I am short of Lotus, though, right? Am I short of Lotus this game? No, this isn't the game where I was a ham. The question is, can they kill me? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think they can, but I don't know. I'm taking at least 3. They have Scourge Devil, which can do 4, 7, plus, is this 4 itself? Plus 4 itself. That's a ton of mana. That also takes them off tutoring unless they have a land drop. So, they can't Nether Shadow this turn. Okay. They exile Hacken. They're probably drawing the Golgari Thug. Okay, they get rid of the Nether Shadow, because the Nether Shadow's probably not that relevant. Alright, Brown Scale, Flayer. Flayer is not good for us. That's a lot of damage. They don't have Anger, though, so, like, Flayer is could do a lot of damage, but they need a third creature to do that, so they could Scourge Devil. So what does this have? So Scourge Devil is, again, it's 4, 4, 3, 11, plus Reanimate the Flayer, which is another 3, right? Or another 4. But that's assuming they don't have a land drop and can't do something cool with Wishclaw. Actually, yeah, if they Wishclaw for the Hogak, that doesn't do 8 to me, right? Because it's not coming from the bin. So we're going to have to see if they can kill me this turn. They really don't want to give me back the Wishclaw. It doesn't matter if they give me back the Wishclaw, honestly. I'm just winning next turn. Now, if they could get rid of all their critters, that'd be pretty powerful. We'll see what they're going to get up to here, though. If they just have an answer to Oath, I'd probably just lose. That's alright, though. We mulled the 4. I think I could have played this better. I don't think I had to put the Underworld Breach out there. Although, I think if I'm giving them another turn, I'm probably losing regardless. They fetch here before tutoring. Not sure why they would do that, but we'll see. Okay, I get the thing back. They have a Lion's Eye Diamond. That could kill us. Could kill us. They're out of cards, though. So they have the Ox, which doesn't kill here, right? Ox does not have haste, which is a good thing. Yeah, I don't think I'm dead. So this does not give haste, right? We're going to see. I think they are short on damage. I don't think they can full 20 me, even with a tutor effect. Well, we kind of played this game, like the last game before this, and this game a little bit like a ham, but alright, this thing, cool. That allows them to draw a bunch of cards, but again, like they had to use up mana to do that. I think mana is going to be the constraint at this point. Alright, Scourge could be frightening. Now the question is, can they... Alright, the bridge may kill us. We may be dead now. Post-attack. Bunch of shit. Yep. So they can sack a bunch of their stuff. This thing can't come back, right? It's double black. I guess they can reanimate that and then do 6 to us. So we're taking 5 plus 4 plus 6. Still alive, I think. Because this thing is a big blow. If they hit the Hogak, we just die. Like, that thing would kill us. If they had it. But they do not appear to. That doesn't do anything. I don't think we're dead. Do not think we are dead. The other question is, can they just kill all their shit? I don't think they can. I think they have too much stuff. Although, is there a way for them to sequence this with the bridge? Okay. So I get hit for a bit. I don't see how they get back the Scourge now. So, alright, they're going to do this. Get a Zombo. Get back the... Alright, this is fine. Like, I take 4. That's fine. What else can they do for 1 mana? Nothing to my knowledge. I mean, unless they played... They have not played their land yet. So if they have another land drop, they can, but they played LED. Now they played LED, and they were just going for a draw there. So, did you find a way to kill me? That's kind of the big question. And I don't think they can unless they have, like, specifically Lotus. Lotus doesn't give haste, though. This Scourge Devil doesn't. The Scourge Devil is what I'm kind of looking at. It doesn't give haste, so, like, these two things aren't going to harm me. Yeah, actually, this is non-token, right? So they can get this thing. This is going to do 2 plus 2, so 4 plus 5. So I take 9 here, down to 5. And then I should just easily win on my next turn with the Oath Trigger. So, managed to get there. I don't feel like we deserve to win this game, but again, like, even though it was a mull to 4, like, I think we could have not played out the Breach on the turn prior. I kind of wanted to see if there's something I could go for. I just looked at the deck and I'm like, no, it's got to be Oath here. I have to just hope I don't die. I guess I'm at 7. What else can they do here? I don't think there's anything else in their bin they can do. So, I guess they pass it and I kill them. So what I need to do here is Tropical Island again for Memory's Journey. Alright, yep, cool. This is non-token as well. I probably should have reread it. Bin my whole deck, yes. Anywhere is fine. Thank you. Please and thank you. So... I will choose myself. I'll put this one. Okay. I used to draw this card. And now we just go off. So, alright, Black Lotus. Pretty powerful effect. Again, I don't know if Oath is right in this deck. I mean, it's felt pretty good, and like I kind of like the fact that I get to play Enlightened Tutor and have multiple powerful options in the deck. which is kind of interesting. We had 6, they're at 14. All right, this will be the last one I have to cast. And then we will go find our 10 Drills of Agony. Unless somehow it got exiled and I don't know it. Would be shocked. Haven't exactly played this one in a stellar way. Alright, 7. Alright. I should have made some white. I'm gonna just... They have 3 cards in hand. Just in case. I'm gonna play a silence out. Should have made white last time around. Alright. That is 9. Well, that's more than lethal. Where is my tendrils? There you are. I guess I didn't have to play silence. Like, how are they going to stop this, right? I'll just cast it again. Yeah. I'm being goofy. Don't need to play silence here if you got this going on. Alright, cool. Alright, well, managed to get there. Kind of hammed out this game, but we also mulled the 4. Took probably an unnecessary risk to hold the Beyond. In the game prior, that was bad. That was a bad keep though. Like that hand looked kind of cool, and like if it actually hit 1 mana source on the opener, it was actually good. It was good to go. It won the game. It obviously did not, so it was not a great hand. But yeah, I'll play Bud. We'll get one more game in. Let me go on a pause while we join Quirk Attack's game, and then we'll get another live game. Alright guys, we're back. Playing against Quirk Attack. I've never played against Quirk Attack, so I don't have any clue what they might possibly be on. This hand's great. I think we just lead on a swamp, say go. We could also play out... I don't need to have Fatal Push on Revolt. Just play out the swamp, play around Wasteland. I guess Strip Mine. You can play around Strip Mine if you want with this hand too. The idea with this hand is probably going to be to play out the Wishclaw on 2. I think. Yeah. Let's just jam this. If they have hand attack us, like, that kind of stinks, but we have Worldly Council to kind of rebuild from there. I think in general, folks probably hand attack too soon, oftentimes against this deck. The ideal time is probably like 2 to 3. Alright, it's a blue deck. Alright. Cool. Blue decks are cool. Alright, Ebon's Stronghold. It'd be nice to get that down. But I think what I want to do here is just go ahead and fetch. I'm actually going to go... Do I go for a Trop or a Tundra? I think I go for a Tundra here. I'm going to jam this Wishclaw Talisman out and just say go. Because I want to resolve it, and I think it puts them under a significant bit of pressure. Okay. It also lets me get a silence effect. All right, they're on this. Okay. Can I win this turn? Not with that. All right, I'm going to take another draw here. I'm going to do Worldly Council here. This is going to go for 3 cards, which basically just anticipate at this point. But I think it's worth it. And then I can, if I find the right things that I need, I can just win next turn. I have the red mana to find the Underworld Breach to go for it. But yeah, I think if they're on Tide, they're going to have counter magic, but they're going to have less of it. We could also Wishclaw just to screw them up royally. It's very hard for Tide to go off on turn 3 without significant variance. Like, they're a turn 4 to 5 deck, and 5 is more realistic. Like, 4 can happen. It does from time to time. Alright, they're going to do nothing. Okay. Well, I'm going to Worldly Council. Are you cool with that, or is that going to eat a counter spell? I really don't care if they counter. I mean, if they counter it, it's fine. Like, they assume a lot of risk if they... Okay, well, that's cool. Take it. Yep. Okay. I think I keep saying go here. They're not doing anything. Like, what I'm ostensibly looking for is another tutor, so I can use this tutor that I've got on board to find a way to disrupt them. Like, a Giga Drowse would be nice. I guess another option is to Giga Drowse them on upkeep, but if they have pitch counter magic, it's pretty bad. They're 8 cards, failed to make a land drop last turn. Like, I think they need to start being proactive with their cards. That's fine. Did you make your land drop? No. Okay. Okay. Alright, well, I think what I want to do is this. I'm going to go boop. Oh, will my Lotus Petal happen? Alright, can this happen? Alright, we're going to Entomb here. What we're going to do is Entomb Savine's Reclamation. I'm sorry, we're going to Entomb... this goofy card. Sack this. Do this. Get Underworld Breach. Try to do this. And now I have enough mana to recast the Savine's Reclamation to get back, I guess, a land, and then the Underworld Breach if this gets countered. Sure. And this is a game win, right? Unless they have a way to bounce. If they have a way to bounce it, I can just sack the LED in response and then recast it. So, even then, it's not that bad. They can have, like, Into the Royal or Blink of an Eye. Are you going to cast more spells? If you're going to do it now. Right. Now if they have a bounce spell, they can still get me. Alright, they don't have a bounce spell. I just want to know before I start wasting more resources. But yeah, this is over. So we do this. Okay. We get rid of this one, and this one. And this goes infinite, so. Yep. Kind of went a little slower here, but like they're a blue deck. High Tide does play counter spells. They were mana shy. Managed to capitalize on it here when they're down to basically 2 mana. They can have like negates and stuff like that, but like it's not from this point. I don't think they can. Well, actually, they can't win. I mean, like there's no way they can stop me at this point. They can't cast spells anymore. So I can't think of any. Yeah, 1 mana cycler that does it. Just getting a look at the deck, I suppose. But at this point, I'm not required to really show them any more cards. Alright, Orm's Chant, you've outlived your usefulness. Lightning Bolt, push, get out of here. Make some black mana. Alright, let's do this one more time, just in case. There's not much that I think matters here that they could possibly have. I just can't think of anything, so I'm just going to be careful and up the storm count just a tiny bit against them. Slight, Is It Charm, and Sure to Vary. Alright, and there we go. There is the Storm stack. So we're playing High Tide. High Tide's a very cool deck, and it does have some of the tools that are necessary to kind of, beat up on us. They're a little bit slower, though. So there is that. A little bit slower of a combo deck. That hand was also pretty good. Could have probably easily been a turn 3 or turn 4 hand if I just, been playing against a green deck or something I don't really, care about YOLOing against. I actually kind of like this hand. Like, this hand's not... I gotta mull this, right? This hand's not good, but it's kind of good, if you get what I mean. You can, just silence them. I gotta mull this. It's not good. Alright, I'll keep this one. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that because I'm already pretty land rich. I don't think mana's gonna be a constraint with this hand. This hand has some time. What do I want to resolve first? Where do I get a top down? Or do I want to just get this Serum Visions off? I think I'd rather get the Serum Visions off this early in the game. Top is kind of one of those cards that may eat a counter spell, but it comes at a cost, right? Alright, we're hoping not to hit a land here off of this initial draw. Alright, we did not. I'm going to bottom both of these. I don't think Bolt is great unless they have Baral, in which case, kind of get got, Save the fetch land. Alright, they're going to Mystical Tutor on upkeep? No, okay. I'm going to say, if you're going for a turn 2, that's aggressive. I don't think turn 2 is even possible in that deck. You have to do some crazy stuff. Alright, well, we're going to play something. Is it Baral? No, it's a Sleight. Sleight of hand. This is the time when they should be casting this kind of stuff, too. You really want to start getting your cantrips out, now, because, I'm not very likely... If I don't go off turn 1, I'm not likely to go off turn 2. There are times when this deck can. But... i.e. the hand you saw in the last game, oh, that's good. Yeah. So I have Black Lotus in hand, basically, after I spend 3 more mana. Question here is, do I want to leave up... Since I can't use Sensei Stiffening Top with a fetch this turn, so... I think I'm just going to leave up Tainted Pact here and say go. I think I like that best. I have this silence effect, so I can... If they have a turn 4, they're going to get me. I guess I don't have to. I could just not cycle here. Let's see what I find with Tainted Pact. I could just not cycle and then leave up... not transmute and leave up silence. Kind of be sneaky. That's an interesting card. Okay. What is that doing? Is this High Tide? It's got to be High Tide. I don't know why it's in their deck, but okay. Do I want this card? No. I don't need this one either. Yes, I would love to have a Black Lotus. Well, this card is very interesting. Actually, can I win this turn? I think it involves starting with this land. So what I can do here is Lotus, all blue, Teleria West, cycle it off, get the LED, Enlighten Tutor. The issue is going to be with this. Actually, I have Tainted Pack, so yeah, I probably can. Can probably get away with it. We will get the Lion's Eye Diamond. Actually, it does not matter, right? Okay. I don't have to hold priority for this one to go on the top of my deck. I'll sack the Lion's Eye Diamond, flip the top. Well, do you have a Force of Will, a day? Actually, days wouldn't matter here. Force of Will or Force of Negation would get me, though. Does this card do it? So here's the thing I have to do. So if I get this card, I can play the Lotus, exiling Enlightened Tutor, Mana Confluence, Silence, making all black, cycling this card, finding... Shit, I don't think it does. So I have to exile 3. This goes into my bin. Plus the next card, plus the Brain Freeze. So play Lotus. I'm down to just LED and bin. Sack Lotus. Lotus LED plus Shred. Let's have Lotus LED, Shred plus Tainted Pact. Shred into Brain Freeze, right? Yeah, this works. I'm pretty positive, right? I have enough mana. That's the next piece. Yeah, I do. Yeah, okay. So I get this. Exactly. So Brain Freeze. Use this. Get rid of these ones. Pretty funny if they saved their Force of Will until now or something like that. Alright, I do need to target myself. Alright, yep. Alright. Alright. This deck's pretty interesting. I have not played a ton of these lines. I mean, I've played them in fishing, but it's a little, your opportunity cost in fishing is a little easier, right? Because you're not playing against someone. You don't have to really worry about what they can do. It definitely adds an element. All right, we won this game. We figured out a line that got us Lotus plus basically infinite mana. I don't think there's any possible thing they could have at this point that they wouldn't have already used unless they were just like having fun, like being goofy. This is pretty degenerate, though. Pretty degen. Alright, got him. Quick pause, guys. I don't know if they're going to want to do another one. If not, we'll jump into some of the other games that I have against Gabos. Hey guys, Lumen back here. So we're doing some more recorded matches. I think folks have gone to bed finally. Blink against Walker of the Plain here. I believe they're on Goblins this evening. Not a great matchup for Goblins, so this is kind of going to be more so, to be honest, deck fishing. I mean, not entirely, but like it's really bad matchup, right? They're just kind of a slower, aggressive, high synergy deck, but like it takes them like 1 to 2 extra turns and like just straight up red deck wins to beat us, and they don't have a ton of true like hosers. Like their ways they win this matchup are like a braid. If I do something crazy with a braid can get me, or yeah, I mean, they're just dead turn 3 here. I'm doing a bad job of explaining this game, but basically I had enough mana to cast Behold the Beyond, so I cast Behold the Beyond and win the game. This is a very standard Storm line where you cast Behold the Beyond, turn 3, to get Black Lotus, Lion's Eye Diamond, and Infernal Tutor. This is a game win, because what will end up happening is I will... Yeah, it's not going to show it, but what happens is I end up having 6 mana off of the LED plus Black Lotus in between. In response to the Infernal on the stack, I crack the LED, go down to 4 mana off casting Infernal, find... in this case, it would be Yawgmoth's Will, because Ill-Gotten Gains is in the bin. I could also actually find, if I really wanted to get cute with it, gosh, can't think, guys. The Breach, the Underworld Breach. And the way I would do that is, I mean, not the way I would do it, but like what would happen is I would play that card out after I made red mana with LED. And then I get back Black Lotus after getting rid of 3 lands. Make some additional black mana, cast the Infernal Tutor to find Brainstorm, recast the LED or the Black Lotus at this point, get rid of Rain of Filth land and squander resources to make blue off of the Lotus, get rid of 3 other irrelevant cards, and then start going into the Brain Freeze loop. Or I could just find Yawgmoth's Will and just win. I find Yawgmoth's Will and just win here. So quick pause, guys. We'll be back momentarily for the next game in this match. Alright, guys, back. Yeah, this hand's not great, but it's got 2 pieces to a combo, basically. It would like to find a Brain Freeze or a way of getting a lot of cards in the bin. I just go ahead and silence him here on turn 2 just to get the card in my hand and build up my graveyard for, well, there's a game win. So I just, not a game win this turn, but I just play out the Wishclaw here. I can try to find Oath here to beat them, and I may actually do that in this game just to try to, like, test that part of the deck out. No, I just get Underworld Breach. I just win this turn. I start brain freezing. So I use the Wishclaw Talisman to find the brain freeze proper. I have enough cards in bin off of discarding my hand off finding the LED or having the LED to just win the game. So yeah, we just brain freeze ourselves over and over again and get access to all of our cards and have infinite mana. Well, not infinite mana, but have a lot of mana. From the LED. I don't know what the exact count is. It's like something like, it's over 100, right? It's enough. Cast Tendrils for stack 12, so that's 26 damage. 26 life loss, I believe. It should be 1 over Storm count. Actually, no, it should be exactly 24, because this went up with the Tendrils on the stack. So yeah, end up getting them there. I have 2 more matches against Walker the Plain, but I'm actually not going to cover them. I mean, it's against Goblins, and we got them 2-0 each game, just because this deck's so fast, right? Goblins is not particularly interactive, and that's kind of one of the things that like decks like Storm will do is like, how do I put it? Like they're kind of barriers decks, right? Like they create a barrier in the format, like, and that barrier basically says like, hey, it's a speed limit, right? Like you have to go faster than me, or you have to disrupt me in some way, shape, or form. Like, that may be playing out like Thalia's, that may be playing out flash threats and having counter spells, maybe playing a bunch of hand attack with efficient threats. Maybe like medium red, where you got a high roll, I'm going to get big. I mean, medium red doesn't have a good matchup against Storm, but you get a high roll, I'm going to get your Blood Moon or whatever. Blood Moon's not even that great against this deck, but it's okay. it's gotten worse since since this card came out. Underworld Breach, kind of funny. It actually does beat it, and then you have a bunch of artifact mana anyway, right? But yeah. Anyways, I kind of want to cover like the rebuild on this deck. Yeah, I think there's some interesting things from an engine building standpoint that have changed for Storm. On top of the points change with Yawgmoth's Will going to a point. You lose a little more fast mana, but I do think Underworld Breach gives this deck significantly more punch. Not like significantly more, but like it gives it more punch, and it gives you kind of some more interesting space to play with in the build, which is really what interested me, because I kind of want to find the most elegant way. I wanted to find the most elegant way to play this card, Underworld Breach, and make it as close to as effective as I could as a secondary Yawgmoth's Will, which I kind of feel like I'm pretty close to that in this deck. And I do think that because of its mana efficiency over Will, being one cheaper, it has some very good high roll lines, and the redundancy is definitely much welcome. Anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. This has been some live gameplay and some recorded gameplay with this Storm deck, this Underworld Breach Storm deck. The deck has done quite well in most of the playtesting I've done, and then just in gaming with folks online. As a top deck, I don't know. I still think Storm's really good. I mean, I've talked to some other like Victoria players, some other experienced Highlander players like Jer White. Jer White thinks it's in the solid tier 2 bracket. I don't know. Like I think this deck is still tier 1. I still think it's a top deck. I think it's the best deck, but I think it's very good. So I don't know. I've been pretty happy with it. I think you saw some of my gameplay. It's late on my end. I'm playtesting the deck, so like I definitely had some less than deliberate lines where I kind of wanted to just throw the deck into a backspin and see what it would do. Like keep some shady hands, stuff like that. And I think it's important to kind of do that stuff in some of your testing because, one, like, sometimes those greedy-ass hands can just randomly win, and it kind of shows you, like, alternate lines the deck can go through, and I tend to find them challenging, too, which is kind of interesting to me, or I have to, like, mind map stuff that, like, is untraditional as far as lines go. Your standard, like, LED, Infernal Tutor lines are, Black Lotus is kind of, like, boring, right? It's just, like, it's a line that can work, and trying to figure out these new cards, like Underworld Breach, and then, like, playing interesting cards like Savine's Reclamation and Light and Tutor in the deck now, plus Oath, which you kind of got to see the Oath kill a couple times. Really kind of give the deck some different dimensions. And, I had a ton of fun playing it. I had a ton of fun building it. I'm going to continue to wrench on this deck, and I kind of wanted to share the process. Like, you get to see some of the testing process, kind of some of my thoughts on how the deck changes given Underworld Breach. And, hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a little more informal, a little more, like, disjointed, and I apologize for that if it's a tough viewing experience. But whenever you do live gameplay, especially if you're going to augment it with, like, a sort of deck tech plus, some of this recorded play, it tends to be a little more fragmented. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And, let me know what your thoughts are on the deck, if there's anything you think could be changed, could be made better. Or any future content that you're interested in seeing. I don't know if anyone was clamoring for Storm, but like I really love this deck, and I really think that Underworld Breach does offer up. I think it's one of the most impactful cards overall, at least for Eternal in this most recent set in Theros. So I really want to play with the card, and this is my first playthrough with the card. First building experience with the card, and I have to say I do not feel like I'm let down by the card whatsoever. I feel like the card definitely delivers on a lot of fronts, some that I didn't even expect. Alright guys, enjoy, and take care now.